folks, how's it going? What happens when an acoustic player gets a job teaching high school kids rock guitar? Well, that's what's happened. It's quite exciting. I've been playing acoustic guitar for 25 years. Never had an electric. Well, I had one briefly and sold it, never used it. Local high school teaches high school kids after school on a voluntary basis. The kids don't have to pay for lessons. It's funded by an anonymous donor. And they range from S1, which is 12, up to S6, which would be 18. And they're at varying levels. I'll be teaching Mondays and Thursdays for 4 hours. So it's half-hour blocks for the most part, one-on-one. And we're using a syllabus called Rock School Awards, which goes through the grade system. It's a company called Rock School Limited. And they do guitar, they do bass, they do keys, they do vocals. This is the guitar syllabus. I've been practicing, I've been cramming the syllabus to get myself up to speed. And finding that a lot of the stuff, because it's unfamiliar to me, is quite challenging. Now I can play well. Acoustic guitar is my thing, as I said. Fingerstyle, flat picking, blues, Travis picking with the alternate thumb. I've even played some classical, so, you know, my chops are there. That's not under debate, but with the rock school stuff, it's a whole new ballgame for me. Not just the electric guitar and the tones and the amps and all of that stuff, but also the style. Electric guitar uses bar chords a lot, power chords a lot, slides and hammers and all sorts of things, which are really, really useful skills and are skills that I will have to work on myself. So I thought I would document, because I feel that there's value in that. I feel that it would be good for me to look back on, because, you know, I've got through the grade 3 book now. I've got 2 more tunes to do in the grade 3 book. And it's been a really interesting progression for me. I started going through them about a month ago, and even some of the grade 1 pieces were a little bit challenging because it was such unfamiliar style. So I thought I would go through it with you, you know, just to document it for me, and also because I think it would be useful for, you know, there's good value in it. I think people would be interested in seeing what happens when an acoustic player gets a gig as an electric teacher, when a folkie gets a job teaching rock. So I've just gone through a tune called Old Bones Blues. The way the syllabus is set up is that there are 6 tunes per grade, and they're in different styles. So there's blues, there's indie, there's punk, there's metal, there's classic rock, all different styles in each grade. So by the time you get to grade 3, you should have some good techniques that you've learned from the first 2 grades, which is the case. This one here is called Old Bones Blues by Kit Morgan, and I went through this one yesterday and I enjoy the blues a lot. So this one's been particularly fun. This guitar here is a Yamaha ERG 121, which I've borrowed from a friend, for which I'm very grateful. Thank you, Fiona and Heather. I found playing some of the rock stuff on acoustic to be quite challenging, especially when you get up, as in this tune you do, up to sort of, oh no you don't in this, yes you do, up to the 12th fret. The previous tune was up to the 17th fret, so even though I have acoustics with cutaways, it's a little challenging to get up that high on the fingerboard. And also there's the tone thing, you know, I've got pedals here which are great. I already had these for my acoustics, so I've got a reverb pedal. Let me just show you, this might be of interest. What can we see? Right, There's my Strymon Blue Sky, which is a superb reverb pedal. And I've got this Moore pedal, which is called the Juicer. That's an overdrive pedal, which I use primarily for distorted lead guitar and acoustic when I'm playing solo gigs. So I use my Boss. I'll just show you that as well, because this is a great loop station. There we are, my Boss RC300 loop station. So with my live acoustic gigs, I will loop some rhythm, and then I'll play some lead over the top and hit my distortion pedal. Comfortably Numb, Pink Floyd. I use it for that so I can get the solo, and I started using it in Werewolves of London, Warren Zevon as well. So let's just go through Old Bones Blues just so I can warm up a bit. So what I do is I play the MP3 and I jam along with it. I just have to open up the right folder. So it's called Old Bones Blues. So I'm just going to jam with it, play along so you can hear where I am. I'll probably mess it up. I'm going to keep all this in just for posterity.
Old Bones Blues.
Let's turn that up a smidge.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's without having gone through it today. Great wee tune. So stop.
1, 2.
Right, Old Bones Blues. So that's an idea of the kind of stuff I'm going through just now. I haven't listened to the next tune yet. This next one's called Indecisive. Here's how it looks on the page. That's your Rock School page. That gives you a synopsis of the genre. This is called Indecisive. It's pop punk, key of C major, power chords, palm muting and pre-bends, and it's in the style of Blink-182, Green Day. Talks a bit here about New York Dolls, Stooges, Ramones, British punk, Sex Pistols of course, and that's what I've got coming up. So where are we? We've got some bar chords, some lead. So it's good for that neck knowledge, which you don't tend to get so much with acoustic playing, with folk playing. Up till now, my main method of learning new stuff has been tablature. So fingerstyle music, Tony McManus, that kind of style is done through tablature, and so quite often I won't know what I'm actually playing. The theory isn't being applied onto the fingerboard. I'm just playing the numbers from the page. And what I find with that is if I'm playing live, especially with somebody else, and I've learned a piece from tablature and I fall off it in the middle, it's very difficult to get back on it because I'm used to starting from the beginning, finishing at the end. And because I haven't internalised it so well, because I've learned it from the numbers, it's very, very hard to get back onto it again when you fall off in the middle. With this kind of stuff where you're playing more theory-based shapes, you can find your way back on so much more quickly and easily, because if you have the theory knowledge and you know your chord progressions and you know your keys and your scales, even if you do mess up, you can keep going and get back on, which is a really useful skill for live playing. You kind of have to be able to do that. And I think it would be good for composition as well. I'm learning now about root notes, which I know, but I'm learning to apply it so that I can hit a 1-4-5 chord progression anywhere on the fingerboard. I can find pentatonic boxes, which is another thing I'd never really looked at. Well, I say never, I had done, but I hadn't internalised it. So you know your boxes, they're really useful for soloing, and they make it quite simple to find a nice solo. So it's really, I think it's going to up my game, I think, guitar playing wise. You may even find some of this stuff being applied into the kind of style that I normally play, and I think it might help with composition and songwriting as well, which is something I would like to do more of. So I'm going to have a go at Indecisive. I've got 2 more tunes to get through to finish grade 3. I'd like to get that done by the end of today. Today's Sunday. I've got my first lesson on Thursday, and I do have a grade 4 pupil, and there is a grade 6 pupil on the syllabus, but I don't know if he's going to keep coming or not. So we'll see. Now I'm only filling in for 5-6 weeks while the guitar teacher's away teaching overseas, which is something he does quite a lot. So this is a great opportunity for me, not only to learn a new style, but to practice teaching, to get to know the pupils, to figure out my strengths and weaknesses, work on my weaknesses, and hopefully build up a portfolio of knowledge and experience that I will then be able to sell. You know, I do teach guitar privately, but it's folk style, it's flat picking, it's what I'm used to doing. Once I get all this knowledge into my head and the techniques under my fingers, my repertoire will expand, and that's only a good thing, isn't it? Right, here's Indecisive. Just worked on it probably for an hour or so, and this is where we are. This is a kind of punky one.
Indecisive.
It's pretty cool.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
go.
Indecisive. One.
Got one more to go, and that's me through the grade 3 book. It's now 2:30, so something to eat. Take my son out for tennis, walk the dogs, and then come back and should have time to finish the last one today, which is great. Okay, thanks for watching.